Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm Dave,
I'm Katie.
and you are listening to our weekly Survivor recap podcast in which we share our thoughts on the latest episode of Survivor. And I'm glad we could acquiesce together here, Katie.
Did
Wait,
you use that
that's
right?
no,
I don't
I
know
don't.
that you did.
I don't think so. Sorry, I don't know what it means, but Michaela used it in Wednesday night's episode, and I thought it was very impressive. I've never
She's a smart cookie.
Yeah, I
I
don't
know
think
what
I've
that
ever
word
heard that
means,
one.
but I couldn't explain what it means. It's one of those words.
Exactly. Well, I don't even know what it means in any way. Like, I have no
So,
idea.
she's fine using a word like that because most people out there probably don't know what it means anyway.
Right. Yeah, no, it was good. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on the episode?
I wasn't surprised with the result. Um, I think that Sierra Dawn Thomas made a bit of a blunder. She knows it and everybody knows it, but you know, it's worth talking about a little bit, I guess, even though it's been talked about already. But
Yeah, let's start with that because I feel like that's the biggest thing that jumps out from this episode is like what the hell was Sierra thinking? Um, I don't mind the logic that you should use whatever leverage you can when you're in a tough spot to get out of it, but
mhm.
she could have lied at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't even occur to her to,
Lie?
or just withhold that part of it. I thought this about the legacy advantage the first time, but because it was in the possession of Ken, who believed that Survivor was about loyalty, he wouldn't do it. But in my mind, I was thinking, well, whoever knows about it should cut the other person so they could get it. I didn't think it would happen that season, but I'm not surprised that Sarah, with this information, took the advantage and cut Sierra for it. And then hammed it up so that Sierra wouldn't think that she didn't vote for her and then give it to her. And then she'll feel like a buffoon in a couple of days when she figures out the truth.
Yeah. It really is a highly unlikely scenario that you could like not only dupe the person into like that you're not going to vote them out after they told you that, but have them yeah, just to be in that scenario where the person says, I will give you this when I get
Mm-hmm.
voted out, and still be able to convince them after you voted them out
Mm-hmm.
that you didn't do it. So they still give it to you. I mean, that is like, that's why, I mean, not on top of Sierra's stupid move, you have Sarah's brilliant move because, like, it's just amazing that she was able to play it like that. It was, I mean,
Right.
it's the obvious thing to do, but to execute it is absolute brilliance.
I think, her intentions were, or I think if Brad hadn't won immunity, that Brad would have gone home. And so it might have bought her another 3 days. But just because they were so set on one of those two, Sarah had no choice but to, you know, go with the one who was vulnerable. So I think it would have worked for Sierra. She would have put the target on Brad instead of herself. It would have bought her 3 more days. But, what are you going to do if someone wins immunity? When he holds that ball, for long enough with those two sticks, then he deserves to stay in 3 days longer, I guess.
Yes. I mean, I still wonder though, like, even though Brad was the intended target, I feel like the light bulb has to go off in Sarah's brain at some point and realize that this is a huge opportunity. I mean, the stars aligned. Like, you have to take that shot and get that advantage. I mean, she played it perfectly. I feel like even if Brad doesn't have immunity, you got to do exactly what she did.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
I think that, oh, I forgot where I was going with that.
know. Wow,
Darn it.
like after 2 words, you
I
forgot.
know, that's I'm already getting Alzheimer's, I think. But
That's
no, I think that Sierra had other reasons. There were other reasons why Sarah wanted to keep Sierra because she was feeding her information, but she couldn't keep her alliance happy by, you know, maneuvering to have both Brad and Sierra stay. Like, that wasn't ever going to happen. So she had to get rid of Sierra. She just had to make sure she had her advantage on the way out the door.
Yeah, you're right. There probably is some advantage to keeping Sierra based on her sharing that information with her. So,
but
yeah.
the big elephant in the room is Sarah's playing this seemingly awesome game. But is it a winning game?
Yeah, that is the question that seems to be floating around in the Survivor community, and it's a great question and worth analyzing a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are muddled and confused because I feel like she has double-crossed a lot of people, and usually that doesn't sit well with folks. But this is a returning player season. They're going to focus more on the gameplay, I think. And Sarah seems to have really legitimate connections with people, but I'm trying to decide if that's going to hurt her or help her. Like, with Dawn and Karamoan, people had legitimate connections with her, and that's why they felt so burned by her. And, will a similar thing happen with Sarah? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really rooting for Sarah now because I loved the way she played it with the facial expressions after the tribal council, the acting performance. Yeah. I mean, Sierra obviously bought that. I mean,
for a couple days anyway.
I think
it gets around at Ponderosa though.
Yeah, was it said in Ponderosa that she believed
No,
her,
but she said in her exit interviews that she found out a couple days later.
No, yeah, it was the fact that she gave her the advantage means she bought it. Yeah. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, I think it was such a brilliant performance, and once again, such a brilliant execution of it that I feel like Sierra has to respect that. I can see her getting Sierra's vote, even though she was betrayed, because Sierra is trying. I think Sierra wants very badly to be accepted as a Survivor game player. And if she can respect the game as a juror, I think that'll buy her a lot of favor in the Survivor community.
True. That's true.
That's only one side of it. But I do think legitimately she respects the move. I very much respect the move. Sarah might have just moved into my number one, rooting for her spot. Suri is still really, I don't know. It's between those two now as far as who I'm rooting for to win. But yeah, a little more about whether she can win. What other jurors do we have? What are your thoughts on the other jurors so far?
Something that's really cool in the CBS All Access secret scenes, which I've ragged on quite a bit because why should I pay $6 a month for it? But whatever. But
didn't one of our listeners share a link on how to get it for free?
They did, but I've been too lazy to cancel my account, so I still have it.
Yeah, but, that got me for several months there. I was signed up for that for several months, and I finally canceled it. So it's a smart move on CBS's part because people like us forget to cancel, and they just keep raking in $5 a month.
$6
a month, yeah.
Anyway, they have this new thing, a secret scene, where they interview the jurors. And they're giving their takes on how the tribal council went and kind of who they're rooting for. I don't know if they're going to do it every week, but it was cool to get the insight. Let's see. Haley's was bizarre. Haley says Aubrey is a disco ball. That's how hers starts. She says Aubrey is a disco ball and basically says she's pulling for Aubrey, which is fine with me, but I don't know what she's seeing that they're not showing us. Mm-hmm. Andrea is being rooted for by Debbie. Debbie's rooting for Andrea. Ozzy says his vote is probably going to go to either Suri or Andrea. And then Zeke's the only one to say Sarah, which I'm wondering if her game is not as visible to everyone as it is to us.
Right. That is always a problem, especially if you stack on top of that people getting betrayed by her.
Yeah.
But yeah,
she could be the Aubrey.
Yeah, touche. And then Aubrey could be the Michelle.
Could be. Stranger things have happened, have they? I don't know. Maybe.
I really do think that Aubrey is a legitimate person to win the game.
I do too. I don't when I watch her secret scenes, she explains everything very well, and she's been biding her time this whole time, which I think is smart. But, you know, there's only a couple weeks left to show us something.
Because as much as we've talked about Cirie being rewarded this season if she won for past seasons, I think it could be a similar situation with Aubrey. Like maybe other people know Aubrey played an awesome game in Korong, got robbed. She played a decent game here. Let's just give it to Aubrey.
Unless she's up against Cirie, in which case I think they'll give it to Cirie.
Yeah, Cirie's resume is a little more stacked.
Yeah. Just by playing more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so...
But anyway, those little secret scenes with the jurors I think are really cool. I don't think they've done that before. So if you get a chance, check those out.
I will try. I think I'm going to have to find that link that our one of our listeners shared, because I'm going to not pay $6 a month to CBS if I can help it.
Yeah, understandable. Understandable.
They're network television, man. It should be free.
Yeah. That's what my antenna's for. I shouldn't have to pay for something I can get with my antenna. But, you know, everybody's trying to get into the subscription, you know, biz. It's where it's at. It's how TV is being made now. Survivor is becoming somewhat of a relic. But that's why I like it.
Right.
One of the reasons.
Do you think Survivor will keep going on the internet in some capacity if, like, TV becomes obsolete? Like, you know,
I think Survivor will be done before TV goes obsolete.
Like, I mean, like TV as we know it with networks and like big networks and yeah.
I think that TV will outlast Survivor.
Okay. Wow.
Maybe. But then maybe they'll reboot. They'll bring a revival of Survivor back. It's never gonna completely die.
I don't know how long TV can freaking hang on.
Well, as long as there's football to watch. You know, sports. That'll keep going.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay.
That's where all the ratings are.
So our mom is safe for now.
Right. And American Idol, thank God American Idol's coming back, because how did we survive 2 years without it?
God, I thought they said it was done.
No, they're bringing it back. They're reviving American Idol, which, like, who asked you to? And second of all,
who out there is like clamoring, like, can we get American Idol back, please?
Name me one American Idol winner from the last 5 years, 7 years. Name one American Idol winner.
Jennifer Hudson.
That was like 10 years ago.
Adam Lambert.
He did not win, and that was like also 10 years ago.
That country guy with the really low voice, Cliff something. He looks like a boy, but he sings
like a boy.
Yeah, he looks like a boy, but he has like a really nice low country voice.
Scotty McCreery.
That might be it. Yeah,
that was a long time ago as well. So I'm just saying, like, American Idol is no longer relevant, but they're bringing it back for some reason.
Okay.
So Survivor will be okay.
Okay. Thank God.
For now.
Okay. So let's get back to Survivor. And we talked about Sierra's poor decision. She really should have lied. She really should have just lied about it and said, you know what, I have this immunity at 6, but, you know, not mentioned that I'm going to give it to you. You know, like, come on.
Yeah, she could have made something up. And she probably didn't know she was going to say it. But
I mean, I feel like that's the, like, biggest part of this episode, hands down, is just like that blunder. It just, like, I can't get
right at the beginning. Yeah.
I can't get over it. It's terrible. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about the loved ones visit. Any standouts for you? Like something you really enjoyed?
I was disappointed that HB wasn't out there, but her son was pretty cute too. So Cirie's son, excuse me. What was his name? Jared?
Is Cirie's son, or is HB Cirie's husband?
Yeah, he usually comes out for Cirie.
I don't remember.
Good for a laugh.
I don't remember him.
He's an entertaining fella. Far more entertaining than neat lady Monica Culpepper. So I was a little disappointed we didn't see him, but her son is pretty entertaining too, so it's fine.
Aren't you even a little impressed with Monica that she was able to completely call that? She was talking to Brad and she's like, oh, I bet Michaela's stewing that you didn't bring her, so you better reel her in. Aren't you a little impressed with her ability to not even be in the
No,
game, not even know who Michaela is, and still realize that
okay.
she
Anybody?
singled out Michaela?
Yes, I understand, but anybody watching that challenge saw her kicking the box and flipping shit because she wasn't picked. It is not difficult to be like, oh, that girl's pissed, take her. Like, she was more pissed than most people should ever get on Survivor, visibly so. Like, I'm not going to give Monica Culpepper kudos for picking that out.
Okay, that's a good point. I mean, like, it was, I forgot about Michaela's temper really on display here at that
Girl threw a
challenge.
tantrum.
Yeah, I forgot about that, and that's pretty obvious, and it's not too hard to connect the dots there. So, good point.
Kudos Culpeppers, but it
Not so
didn't even
much.
work. So
Yeah, it didn't. Um, yeah. Any other loved ones? Oh, my phone's ringing. Sorry about that.
oh boy, sounds like you got a cash register ringtone.
Doot, doot, doot. Sorry.
Okay. No, loved ones. Michaela's mom was funny. She just seemed happy to be there.
Yeah, she was cool.
Other than that, oh, Mark the Human was a fine man.
What is with
Way
everybody
to go,
saying like,
Ty.
how handsome this guy? I didn't
He's
think.
handsome.
Well, yeah, he's like pretty good looking, but he's not like everyone's like talking about how sexy he is, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like,
Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I thought he was a
I guess he's really good
big.
looking.
He was a big chunk of man, and he was like muscular and looked refined, and he had glasses on.
Wow.
And I thought it was cool to see the namesake of Mark the Chicken.
Okay. Speaking of sexy men, this really threw me off when Sierra says like about Sarah's husband. She's like, "Damn, Sarah, he's sexy," and I was like,
I was like, "Girl, down, girl."
Dude, that is like not. I don't know if that's appropriate. Like, can you?
Is that crossing the line? I don't. You know, it's kind of like almost
I thought it was
insulting because it's like, did Sierra think that Sarah couldn't get a hot man, and so when she sees him, she's like, "Wow, he's hot!" Like she's surprised by it, and I'm like, Sarah's cool. So what are you even talking about, Sierra?
Exactly. There's like levels to it, and all of them are bad. Like,
yeah,
the level you just said is bad, which is it implies that she didn't think Sarah could have a sexy husband.
right.
Like she's surprised by it. And then also like it's not appropriate for a young, attractive woman to like be like, damn, your husband's like turning me on right now. He's so good looking.
Well, she didn't say that.
But like what she was like really emphatic about it. Like, well, I'm attracted to your husband.
And I'm surprised that I'm attracted to your husband.
Exactly.
Like he's your husband.
To me, I was a little taken aback by it. I was like, that's not appropriate.
It was a weird thing.
Which I thought I've noticed this about Sierra as the season's gone on. Not only has she complained about how much she's struggling with, you know, everything, how hard it's been for her, but I think she's really shown it. Like I've seen instances of her kind of like being a little mentally like loopy. Yeah. And I thought that was kind of an example of it, like her just like saying that. But like it was maybe an indication of she's getting a little loopy out there.
Needs a burger. Yeah. Yeah, you kind of saw it too when her dad came out. She just kind of like collapsed into her dad, and she was just kind of she was at the end of her rope, I think, and it didn't help that she was on the bottom of the numbers, and she, you know, she tried to stay, but it just, I guess it was her time to go.
Yeah, I think it's for the best that she got voted out when she did.
I do too. I was a little worried that she was just, you know, gonna be right there at the end from the beginning of the season, because it's just, you know, she's that kind of player. But this time she played harder, so I think she was put on people's radars earlier, and so that's why she got taken out. Didn't make it quite as far this time.
Yeah, I actually really liked her dad. I liked his little speech. I thought that was a really cool speech. It's not, everyone tries to be positive all the time, and it's not often you hear somebody like speak some real shit where they're like, you got to be thick skinned in this world, because like everything you try to do in life, someone's going to try to drag you down. I was like, damn, that's real.
Everything. Yeah, that's true.
That's real, Sierra's dad. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, she is, you know, she was ready to go. She was ready for a good long nap and a good meal.
I have written in my notes something. I don't know what it means, and maybe you can tell me.
Okay, this is becoming like a new segment in our podcast.
Oh, okay. I think this is, yeah, today's random note that I don't know what I meant. Um, I think this is actually from a commercial that came before.
Why are you writing notes on the commercials for,
I don't
man?
know, but it says KNOX. What a stupid idea. So what's KNOX? Knox.
Knox is Sarah's son's name. So
Mm,
why are you calling him a stupid idea?
I don't know. I feel like okay, here's possibly what happened. I was writing I was thinking about the commercial, trying to write the note about that's a stupid idea for whatever it was. But
Hmm.
then as as her son's coming out, or who came out? Her husband?
Her
Who we
husband, but she asked about their son, Knox.
Oh, okay, that is what I meant. I think I
Yeah.
meant that the name is stupid.
Okay,
We figured it out though. No, that's exactly what. Okay,
first of
thank you.
all, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie have a son named Knox, and that's what set off the trend of people naming their sons Knox.
I don't like it.
Well, I don't know if I'd name my son Knox either, but hey, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just me.
Well,
That's whatever.
you apparently cared enough to write a note about it. Jeez.
I know. I just thought it was funny at the
What a
time.
stupid idea.
Yeah, that's literally what I wrote. Okay.
Good, we got that cleared up.
Troyzan and his brother. That was nice for what it was.
Cute, yeah.
Yeah, I also liked how Mark and Ty, when the first thing Ty asks Mark is, "How are the cats?"
Yeah. Yeah, he cares about his cats.
Exactly what you would ask on Survivor. You'd be like, "How's my cat doing?"
Maybe.
How's Blanket?
Maybe I wouldn't care.
Where's Blanket? She's usually in the
I'd be mad at
background.
her.
The last
I don't
several
know.
podcasts, she's been in the background there, but
She's snoozing somewhere else today.
Um, yeah, and I thought Cerie's son kind of popped. Like he should probably play.
He's amazing.
He should probably play.
I love it when they just immediately ask their loved ones for their clothes, and then the loved ones have to sit there with like out their clothes on while they're there at camp. They've done that in the past where like, because their loved ones have fresh clothes on, they're like, give me your clothes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they just have to sit there without their clothes on.
Oh, right. Yeah. I never noticed that. That's really cool.
They just want something fresh and clean to wear.
Yeah. I also, when I was watching the Mark Ty thing, it didn't even occur to me that this was human Mark. Like I had already forgotten about Mark the chicken.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
He's kind of a one-season gimmick. You really kind of forget about him. And they haven't really mentioned the chicken since the beginning of the season, so.
Yeah, it was lost on me, unfortunately. But yeah, after the fact, I got it.
There you go. That's who they named Mark after.
Yep. And yeah, back to the previous thought before that. They should definitely put Cerie's son on Survivor because he's got that same thing Cerie has, where like he's a city boy, so he'll be like a fish out of water, but at the same time, he's like funny and probably just as smart as his mom. So
yeah, he was horrified that they had to go to the bathroom in the jungle.
Yeah, that shocked look on his face. He's like, "Are you serious?"
He's like, "I'm holding it."
Yep.
Yeah, the loved ones visit is it's fun. I liked Aubrey's sister. She seemed just as fun as Aubrey.
Yeah, we got a nice explanation of why siblings are close. Like, did you think of me and Cassie when she was talking about that?
Yeah, I did, because it's true. You don't they're truly the only people in the world who know every side of you.
They've seen you at all levels. And Catie, I just want to say I love you. You're my it girl on a real level.
Is that what she said?
No, that was what Sarah said to Sierra when she was trying to reel her in. She was like, "Sierra, I love you. You're my it girl."
Yeah, dude, that was stone cold.
On a real level.
But it wasn't. She was doing that to get the advantage.
It wasn't a real level at all.
It was funny to watch her kind of dig to bring it up. I haven't told anybody about the legacy advantage. Like that was her way of just reminding her, remember what you said. You're going to give it to me because you're getting voted out. It's like, is there another way for her to, I don't know, could Sarah have told Sierra she was going to get voted out and
Still gotten the advantage?
yeah.
How I feel like the numbers have to be lined up a certain way, right?
I don't know.
Like you have to have enough numbers where her vote doesn't matter, which actually was the
I
case
think was
here.
the case. I think that
Yeah,
was the case. So
because
like
it
I don't
ended up
understand.
being 6-3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so you could
Ty's basically
say,
with them now.
yeah, I suppose you could potentially say to her, it's a done deal. It's 5-4. But I suppose that you can't do that because it opens up too many opportunities for Sierra to do some scrambling and maybe turn something around. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, and it could have backfired on Sarah because if Sierra tells someone Sarah told me this, then they're going to turn on Sarah and they could vote Sarah out.
Right. It can backfire. There's no reason to put that kind of heat on yourself.
Yeah, I suppose. But if Sierra just would have stopped and thought, and we've already talked about she seemed pretty fuzzy. She was in rough shape, so I understand why in that moment she did not. But she had 3 votes. There were only 3 votes not for her, and one of them was hers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so who were the other 2 people? It sure as hell wasn't Ty and Sarah, so obviously it was Brad and Troy, which means that Sarah voted for her.
Process of elimination. That's once again, she was way too loopy to
She was.
do anything.
It's true. Yeah, girl was loopy. She wasn't really
w-
acting that loopy, but
I think she was.
well, I mean, she wasn't like Debbie. She was like Sierra loopy, which is just like not.
Just not all there, not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I guess.
So,
I guess so.
So I figured out what commercial I wrote a note about that I thought was stupid.
I thought you said the name was stupid.
There was another note coming.
Geez.
It was about Candy Crush. There's
Yeah.
There's a game
TV show about Candy Crush.
And I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah. Okay. Well, is that as stupid as the name Knox or stupider? Because I think it's stupider.
I think Candy Crush takes the cake on that one.
I think you're right.
Takes the candy.
So we probably need to talk about Michaela.
Yeah. What do you have to say about her?
Last week I felt optimistic that she was going to kind of emerge as a gamer. But I don't think that's the case. I mean, I forgot how loyal she is. And I think, to me, I feel like there was something missing. Like, I have a feeling that a talk with Sari is probably what pulled her back over to their side, but we just didn't see that.
It's possible. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's just a major assumption on my part because I know they're trying to act like they're not really working together. So they wouldn't have wanted to do it out. They wouldn't have done it out in the open. But it's just some things had to speak to her loyalties to get her not to flip.
Right. I mean, because we have Sarah talking to Michaela, telling her that Sierra has this advantage. Mm-hmm. And she does
why would that make Michaela mad? I don't get it.
Yeah, no, she withholds information, right? She does.
She does.
She withholds the fact that this advantage is going to be passed to her, or I forget. Does she share that?
She doesn't tell her that it's willed to someone. She just tells her it's an immunity. But there's a chance Michaela knows about it.
I don't know. I think we might have that wrong. I'm not 100% sure. We might have to go back and check, but I think it might be true that she did tell her the advantage would be passed on to somebody. She didn't say who. She didn't tell her. The only information I think she withheld was that Sierra told her she would give it to Sarah herself. I do think she mentioned it would be passed on. The thing is, Sarah didn't need to tell her that either, but she did.
These people just can't stop themselves.
Yeah. So essentially, Michaela didn't need to vote Sierra either because really, like Michaela, there's no way the vote or not the immunity, the advantage. There's no way that's going to be passed to Michaela by Sierra. So like, it doesn't really benefit her to vote out Sierra here at this vote. So other
Other than
than
proving her loyalty to the tribe she's or the alliance she's worked with so far.
right, and knowing that yes, Sierra has immunity at 6 if they don't get her out now, but knowing that the things could be passed down, somebody is going to have immunity no matter what at 6, and it's not going to be her because nobody's passing that thing to her. But yeah, maybe I think you have a really good point that maybe that lends credibility to the idea that Sierra, or sorry, Cirie, got all these Sarah, Cirie, Sierra, lends credibility to the idea that Cirie pulled in Michaela.
Yeah, because I just don't think Sarah telling Michaela about the legacy advantage is enough to make Michaela be like, because she was putting in work to get that other group together, and then she just flipped back. And I feel like that conversation with Sarah isn't enough. I feel like there had to be more, and I think she's tight with Aubrey and Cirie too. And I guess we just didn't see that, but that worries me that we're not seeing that, you know?
Right. And speaking of not seeing enough of someone to give them a chance to win the game, can we talk about like Troyzan for a second? Like,
I mean, what is there to say? The guy's got a big schlong. That's what everybody says about him, but that's all I hear about him.
His legacy in this?
I think so.
Didn't we kind of get like Troyzan speaking for the first time in a long time in this episode?
He and Sierra were talking.
Yeah, and he
was in the water with Michaela and Ty and Sierra after the reward challenge. So he talked a little bit, but even when there were only 4 people on the beach, him being one of them, like, we barely heard him speak.
Right. He did talk a little bit to Sierra about pulling Michaela in, though, so we finally got something out of him. But yeah, so my question is, I mean, there's basically 0 chance that Troyzan can win the game.
I think someone in one of those little juror segments, someone said Troyzan's probably the only person that I can't see winning. I think it was Zeke.
Just based on the edit, or for us, it's just
based on what he's seeing too.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, just based on the edit for us is what I meant. But out there, apparently, they're seeing something else that says.
However, this comes from Zeke, but Troyzan had a good relationship with Debbie, Ozzy. And I don't know about Ozzy, but
yeah, I thought him and Ozzy got along pretty well. Yeah,
they were. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then Sierra, so he's got friends on the jury so far.
Right. So here's my
who is he gonna win against?
I know. My last ditch thing that he can do. The only thing he can do to win this game in my eyes is like he has this like epic final tribal speech where he says that like he's like, now I finally get to talk. I've been silent this whole time. I've sat here with my mouth shut listening to all you idiots or something like that. And he's like, now I get to tell you what I did. And he's like, I sat on this idol to the final 5 or something like that. And I used it at the perfect time. Then I won final immunity. Like, what if he has an awesome end game and just emerges and then shares this like strategy of just being quiet the whole time? And I feel like then maybe he has a chance. I really think he does at that point, but that's a lot of stuff that needs to happen.
I have a thought for him, and I need to get it out before it disappears.
Go.
But like, I was thinking about the editors. Like, that's the one thing we fall back on is if that's the case, then why wasn't he getting a story all along from the editors, But if that's his strategy, is to say it was my strategy to play a very quiet game, then the editors should have his whole arc be quiet up until the very end. So, and the editors have become more tricky of late, and so I think it'd be very interesting for them to show Troyzan's game as most people saw it, but then, a big explosion at the end, because you can't win. Historically speaking, you can't win having played that quiet of a game unless you come alive at the end, kind of like Michelle did. She won some key challenges. She had a good social game, and that's basically all it took. She didn't piss off the people that the other people pissed off.
Right. Yeah. Michelle was a very quiet character for the most part. She didn't have a ton of, confessionals, airtime, anything. But yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be the proper edit for someone's game who went like that? Is just to sort of like not include them until they explode, like at the end.
I think so, but
This is a
it's not. There's no
complete,
precedent for it because
yeah,
even Michelle had her moments beforehand. The "I know, bro," or like or "bro, I know," whatever she
yeah,
said.
painting her to be
An
capable of,
independent, yeah.
yeah, making decisions and steering the game where she wanted it to go. We're not getting much of that from Troy Azan, other than him being wary of certain people like Andrea, finding an
Mhm.
idol. He has little moments, but they're all at the beginning of the season and
That's true. He had some focus at the beginning of the season, but it
disappeared.
disappeared. And I feel like I can't help but feel like I'd be so disappointed if I were Troy Zan because he's such a fan, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
he's not giving them anything maybe to work with, and that's smart of him. Look how far he's gotten, but I just I'd still be so bummed to know that I was literally one of 9 people there and I still like barely get to speak. And Aubrey kind of the same thing. She gets confessionals like at least one an episode, but she's still pretty quiet.
They're always used to express some sort of like attitude of like I hate this person or
Or like description of a
this,
reward or
this person's stupid.
yeah.
A lot of that, I think. But anyways, I'm just saying there is a way Troy Zan is the winner, but it's like some extreme. All of these things need to happen. Idol needs to be
Don't you
played
think he's the
perfectly.
person with the smallest chance of anyone though?
Oh, absolutely. I'm saying all these things need to happen. Idol needs to be played at the perfect time, needs to win final immunity. And
If he could idle like freaking Suri out of the game, everyone would hate him. But that'd be a move.
yeah, and I think on top of all that, he needs the final travel speech to be epic as well. To
I
make,
don't know that he's a particularly loquacious fellow.
well, if he's got it all figured out in his head, maybe he can pull it off. But
Maybe that's what he's
yeah,
been doing this whole time. He's just been silent because he's been practicing his final tribal council speech in his head every day, like a mantra.
and talk about visualization too. I mean, you're already planning your final travel speech on day one. Like, means you expect to be there.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's good
I
stuff.
don't
But
I don't think there's a non-zero chance that he's there. Did I say that right? I think he's gonna be there, is what I'm saying.
right, okay. Do. 8 people left.
2 episodes left.
1 episode before the finale.
Yeah. Which
So,
equals 2.
which puts you at 7. I'm just saying, yeah, it puts you at 7 with
They
the.
have to be getting rid of 2 next week, right?
I mean, how else can this work?
I mean, we said this last week. You cannot go into a finale with 7 people. 6 is pushing it. Like, it's go, go, go. So I don't see how they're going to do it with 7. So,
Think anybody's a medevac candidate?
no,
No.
absolutely not. No.
Okay. I mean, because that's another option. That's another way to get rid of somebody quick, you know?
Yeah, but I'm saying what I want to happen. I don't want a medevac, as most people don't. Because a medevac can hit anybody. I mean, it doesn't discern between who's deserving and who's not. So let's hope not.
Right. Yeah, what do you think's going to happen then?
I think we might get another double whammy episode like the Will and Sunday episode last season.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Because that was in 1 hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was right before the finale, too.
Oh, it was. So it'll be just like last year.
That's my
Last-
guess. I mean, the preview did not indicate as much, and I haven't heard Jeff Probst say anything, but I still am of the belief that they'll lose 2 next week.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm
Yes.
down with that.
Yes.
Any final thoughts on the episode?
Do you feel like okay, the first half of the season, the pre-merge was just excitement, but like complete devastation and destruction. So in that sense, it was exciting. How do you feel like the post-merge measures up? It's been they've shaken things up. It hasn't just been a down the line sort of thing. And the people we like are in power. So like, do you feel good about it or how do you feel about it?
Honestly, I don't know what it is. It's probably just me like being a bitch But like I've started to sort of lose interest in this season as it's going on. Like it seems like each week it gets a little like less like meh. But I mean, Cerie's cool.
Do you think that has to
Um,
do with the fact that there aren't a lot of super compelling characters around anymore? Like you've got, I mean, we're talking about Sarah and Brad as like the people who the community is saying have the best chances of winning. Sarah Lucina and Brad Culpepper. Like, is
yeah.
is is it like kind of anticlimactic? Is that why? Not that they're not playing good games. It's just
Yeah, I think it's about characters that just aren't quite at the level of the ones we were pulling for at the start. Like, I don't know, maybe we're just butthurt about the Malcolm thing because, like,
I'll
I don't
never get
know.
over it.
Yeah, I don't think I'll. I think Malcolm losing this season like
And the way
ruined
he did so
ruined the
early.
season for me. Like, I mean, yeah, Malcolm, Sandra, Tony. Like, if any one of those three would have stayed a little bit longer, especially Malcolm or Tony, I'd be a lot higher on the season.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't just lose gamers, you lost characters. And
Yeah, that's the point. Yep.
There and Cerie's an awesome character. We just haven't been getting as much of her again lately. It's been all Sarah, which is fine. But like, can we talk about how it takes an hour for a thought to go from Sarah's head to her mouth? Because that drives me crazy.
That's how I am though, so I can't get mad at her.
She
So,
just speaks so slowly, and I think
but
she's doing a great job, and she's entertaining to watch. But she doesn't have the confessionals like a Sandra or a Tony or a Malcolm does. It's just kind of like it's very maybe that's it. It's the confessionals are very like by the book. Aubrey gives great confessionals, and they show them in the secret scenes, but they never put him in the show. I feel like Michaela should have more. Maybe not. I don't know. I just feel like it's a little not as like fun, maybe.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it really is. I think that's what it is about this season that's losing steam for me is just the lack of interesting people, characters.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not like they're totally uninteresting, but it's just everybody I mean, we can go back to our preseason podcast probably and say, and there will be a part where we say the darkest timeline would be Brad, Troy, Zan, Sarah Lucina, Ty, Sierra. But yeah, Suri and Andrea are kind of like a ray of light in there. So it's still
even
just,
me before the
still
season,
not
I didn't.
enough.
Andrea was not someone I was excited to play, and yeah, she's playing well. I think she's probably one of the next to go, and Suri is playing smart, which unfortunately means she's playing quiet. So there's not much to see from her either. So it's just right now these last couple episodes. While there has been some good strategy and stuff, it's just been a little, at the beginning of the season, I was gasping at Tribal Council, crying at Tribal Council, and it's hard to live up to that. And maybe you don't want to measure up to that level because it's exhausting. I remember saying like, I don't want Tribal Council to be like this anymore. I need a week off. But
And isn't that when somebody easy went home as soon as you said that?
I said I wanted a nice Debbie vote out, and that didn't happen for a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. It's hard to sustain that level, that rush that was going on in the beginning of the season.
Right. Yeah, sorry to say it, just being honest. Maybe I say this, it's entirely possible I say this every season around this time. Like,
I think we get a little fatigue. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I get fatigued and I sort of lose interest. And it's sort of like there's always this lull where you have like a bunch of excess fat
Trimmed, yeah.
You need to trim that off. And yeah, I wonder if it's just this part of the season. It's just
I think it might be because it's typically when you lose like a Sierra or I guess Zeke, that was unexpected. But still, it's, and next week, I don't know. My guess is Andrea's next. Predictions early. Sorry.
Pretty easy vote.
I've predicted her like the last couple times, I think. Oh yeah, I predicted her last week and I was wrong.
Okay.
But that's the first time I've been wrong in 3 weeks. So
you had 3 in a row?
I had 2 in a row. That was my third one. It was wrong.
Oh, right. Okay.
Fair enough. Rarely, I usually don't even get 1 right. So 2 in a row is pretty big for me.
Well, that's huge.
Yeah.
I don't think I said Sierra, did I?
You said Michaela.
I did, didn't I? Yep.
Mhm. The preview for next week looks insane.
I don't remember.
Michaela is blackmailing Culpepper?
Oh yeah, and
What the hell?
she said go fish or something like that.
Yeah, what the hell?
I don't know. I had a theory that he tells her he's going fishing, and she's like, "Oh, go fish," and she's like accusing him of looking for an idol or something, and she wants to blackmail him by telling everyone he has the idol or something, or either he found it or
I mean,
is
Ty's got to
even
give him an
looking.
idol. Come on.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, you might as well.
Quit being such a greedy little bastard and give one of your. Actually, they're not working together anymore, so never mind.
Well, I mean, there's still 8 people, so he has like 3 more votes to use it, or 4.
But Ty's the one who goes to Suri about making a move.
Who does he want to make a move on?
Probably someone in their group. Andrea, probably. Maybe Sarah.
I think
because maybe people are getting wise to what Sarah's doing. Although the whole legacy advantage, no one's going to know what she did this time.
But what Cerie says in the preview indicates that somebody she's been really tight with, because she talks about like feeling like a bad person about it or something.
I think she's just wondering how she can pull it off.
Oh, maybe it's just that. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think Sierra or Cerie's afraid to cut anyone.
I might have to agree with you for the first time and say that Andrea's time is up.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if she doesn't go home this week, just maybe she wins. I'll stop predicting her if she doesn't go home this week.
Nice. MVP for the episode? For me, no brainer, Sarah Lucina. Lucina. Yeah, sorry. I'm never gonna stop saying that. just don't correct me.
Sarah. I think I mean, I don't know who else to go with.
It's Sarah.
It's Sarah.
It was brilliant. It was executed perfectly.
Yeah. She did a fine job. She makes Tony proud. She's playing with much more finesse than Tony.
Faux cheese. All right. Well, that does it for this episode of the podcast. I want to thank you guys for listening if you made it this far. And you can follow us on Twitter at TV is our real mom. And, like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. I saw a good meme about that today. It was like, he said my friend was putting his like 2-year-old son to bed. When do kids start talking?
I don't know. 1, 2.
1. He's like, my friend was putting his 1-year-old son to bed, and he said, don't forget to subscribe, because he thought he thought that meant goodbye because he watches so much YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
Don't forget to subscribe.
True. It's true. You hear it a lot.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we have to say it. It's just part of the deal. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.
Good night.